Shalom, shalom. I am Brother Nicodemus O. Smith. This is the Torah portion commentary. And this is a special week because we're dealing with the Torah portion that is according to the day of Pentecost, even though Pentecost is still like 2 weeks away. I mean, what do you want from me? I was given this world. I didn't make it. But last video, we got an overview of how Exodus 19 is the remix to Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2. Today, I make proof of my ministry and bust out these receipts. And so then now, Bible detectives, welcome back to Study the Bible, Not the Sermon TV. Today, we pulling out the Hebrew, we pulling out the King James, and the holy magnifying glass turn up. Let's talk repeated vocabulary, because the Bible doesn't rhyme words. This is Hebrew poetry. And unlike American poetry or English poetry, the ancient path is to rhyme concepts, if that makes sense. A lot of time, the rhyming concepts are pointed out by the matching vocabulary. For example, you can check it out on the screen here. Genesis 11, verse 5, the Lord or Yahweh came down. In Exodus 19, verse 20, the Lord or Yahweh also came down. Because, when God comes down, something is going up. If you know, you know. Then in Genesis chapter 2, verse 3, God sanctifies the seventh day, very similar to how he sanctifies the people in Exodus 19, verse 10. Then again, also, God puts the call out. In Genesis chapter 1, God calls creation to order. And likewise in Exodus 19, God calls Moses up the mountain. And just as a bit of Bible trivia, how many times was Moses called up the mountain? Well, since I keep saying this is the remix of Genesis chapter 1, I'm sure everybody guessed 7 times. And you would be correct. As another way, Exodus 19 maps on or is patterned after Genesis 1 and 2. But for all my Israelites that can barely master the English language or barely master English grammar, go ahead and peel open your King James Version right quick. Genesis 2 verse 17 has an implied boundary about not eating from the tree. There's also that Adam and Eve was pushed out of the garden, and then the cherub angel was placed there to make sure they couldn't get back into the tree of life, right? Likewise, in Exodus 19 verse 12, there was boundaries set around the mountain for the exact same reason, because Mount Sinai was effectively the Garden of Eden 2.0. And what about the voice of God? Voice. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 8, the voice of God was heard walking in the cool of the day. And then, of course, in Exodus 19, verse 19, Moses called out to God, and God answered him via a voice. Because, when God speaks, creation listens, turn up. And listen, I ain't gonna lie. This is not coincidence. This is design. Exodus 19 is intentionally written to sound like Genesis 1 and 2. It's God saying, let me show you how I create order again. And speaking of patterns, let me shout out my favorite truth artist rapper. Y'all already know who I'm talking about. He just dropped that new mixtape, Edification, and he got that merch, that t-shirt that say ignorance is not bliss, it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Which is low-key the entire message of the Old Testament. I'm just saying, if you seeing a pattern now, jump in the comments and type, I see it. If you still confused, jump in the comments and type, help me, Lord. Either way, you in the right place. And the next video, we're going to wrap this whole thing up with reflections, real life application, and a few questions that might just hit you right in your soul. 1.